Once again, Juventus finds itself embroiled in a scandal that could potentially tarnish the reputation of the club and the entire Italian football community, reminiscent of the Calciopoli scandal of 17 years prior. This time around, it's not about influencing match officials, but rather concerning Plus Valencia and other financial improprieties. The Italian Football Federation, FIGC, announced that Juventus has been penalized with a 15-point deduction for financial irregularities and false accounting with regards to their past transfer dealings. This unfortunate turn of events has resulted in Juventus plummeting from third place in the Serie A standings to 10th, putting an end to any hopes of winning the Scudetto and now trailing 12 points behind fourth placed Lazio. If Juventus fails to secure a spot in the Champions League, it will have far-reaching consequences for the club, which has already been facing financial struggles in recent years. The heart of this ongoing saga lies in the concept of Plus Valencia, or capital gains, which is the profit made from a transfer. For instance, if Juventus signs a player for 100 million euros on a 5-year contract, they will be gradually monetize the cost of the player's registration rights over the duration of the contract, which is usually divided equally over 5 years. The player's value would then be 20 million euros per year. Remember, that is 100 million euros divided by 5. So if Juventus sold that player after 3 years for 60 million euros, they would earn a capital gain of 20 million euros on the player's registration rights. That is 60 million euros minus the remaining 40 million euros monetary value. So let's turn our attention and have a look at why capital gains is so important in football, especially at an international level. With UEFA's financial fair play regulations keeping a close eye on clubs' financial records, those that violate the rules face severe consequences. This is why clubs must maintain a balanced budget year after year. Some clubs resort to artificial inflation of assets, such as young players, to show a profit in certain transfers. This practice, known as plusvalenza, is common in Italy, particularly with Juventus being accused of running their club like the mafia. In the 2018-2019 season, 20 Serie A clubs made a total of 699 million euros in capital gains, surpassing the amount earned from commercial deals, which was 647 million euros. That amount is higher than any other major league. However, other leagues such as the Premier League, La Liga, and Bundesliga generate more revenue from TV rights and sponsorships instead of player transfers. Making profits on transfers is not necessarily an issue, but problems arise when clubs inflate the value of players. Although this is not exclusive to Italy, it is a prevalent issue in the country, and Juventus seems to be at the center of this controversy. The reason why Juventus is at the center of the scandal involving shady player valuation in transfer deals has got to do with the summer transfer in 2020 of Arthur Melo from Barcelona to Juventus and Miralem Pjanic, going in the opposite direction being a prime example. The two deals were officially not connected and were not announced as part of the same transfer, but Juventus only had to pay a measly 12 million euros in cash, while both clubs were able to post a capital gain on their outgoing players. This whole exchange reeks of financial trickery rather than genuine football transactions, and it was written about openly at the time. For years, the Italian authorities have been scrutinizing transfers involving Juventus and other clubs, including the Pjanic-Arthur swap, and a similar operation in 2019. In 2021, the Supervisory Commission for the Serie A, COVASOC, launched an investigation into dozens of deals with questionable player values and flagged 62 potential inflated transfers, which led to a criminal investigation called Prisma in May 2021. The financial regulator, Consob, has also become involved in the case. The Italian financial police, Guardia di Finanza, even raided Juventus training grounds and officials and seized documents related to the transfers in question. However, this is not the first time that Juventus has been facing such allegations, and similar cases have occurred in the past with AC Milan and Inter Milan being investigated for alleged financial irregularities related to the capital gains in 2008. The club was even dropped charges in April of the previous year for the difficulty in establishing the true value of a football player. Despite resolving the capital gains case in the previous year, Juventus still faced investigations by Consob for their suspected involvement in false accounting and market manipulation. Furthermore, the Turin public protector was delving into investigations of deferring salary payments during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a move to save costs during a difficult financial period for the club, 23 players of Juventus signed an agreement to reduce their salaries in May and June 2020, but, according to reports, the players only gave up 1 month of wages instead of the agreed 4. This sparked accusations that they were paid off the books to dodge taxes and that statements were falsified to give the illusion of balanced finances. In October, the Turin Public Protector concluded their investigation, leading to the resignation of the entire board of directors on the 28th of November ahead of an extraordinary General Assembly. It is important to note that no official admission of guilt was made, and the club stated that a fresh board of directors was necessary to tackle these issues. Outgoing President Agnelli stressed the importance of unity in his message to his staff, emphasizing the need to contain the damage by resigning as a team and giving a new board the chance to turn things around. With the club facing investigations for false accounting and market manipulation, much like the illicit activities carried out by organized crime syndicates, the alleged deferment of salary payments and payment of wages off the books to evade taxes further adds to the comparison, as this type of financial deception is commonly used by the mafia to conceal their ill-gotten gains. Let us not forget the resignation of an entire board of directors ahead of an extraordinary General Assembly can also be seen as an attempt to clear their names and start afresh, much like the mafia's tendency to reorganize when facing legal consequences. But let's take a look at why the capital gains case was reopened, and that's directly linked to the results of the findings in the Prisma investigation, which uncovered new evidence such as the rumored black book of Fabio Paratici that contained the actual figures in transfer dealings. The wiretapes, in turn, uncovered admissions of guilt from Juventus directors including Agnelli and Maurizio Arrivabene. With these incriminating findings, the FIGC prosecutor Giuseppe Cine pushed for the previous ruling to be overturned, and the case was brought back to life in December 2022. Although 9 out of the original 11 clubs were still involved, Juventus remained in the spotlight due to the overwhelming amount of evidence against them and their suspected efforts to sidestep the Plus Valencia regulations. So what happens now? Well, Juventus and those implicated in the controversy are currently in a state of uncertainty as they await the verdict from the FIGC on the penalties they will face. The club is expected to challenge the decision, but the Collegio de Granzia can only intervene if any legal or procedural errors are found. Meanwhile, the Prisma criminal case is investigating the potential breaches of the loyalty of sporting competition and false accounting related to salaries, putting the club at risk of a European ban and potentially involving other teams in the scandal. However, for now, Juventus must concentrate on rescuing their season. This scandal has the potential to be the most devastating event to hit the Serie A since the Calciopoli scandal. With the club facing investigations for false accounting and market manipulation, much like the illicit activities carried out by organized crime syndicates, the alleged deferment of salary payments and payments of wages off the books to evade taxes further adds to the comparison, as this type of financial deception is commonly used by the mafia to conceal their ill gotten gains. The resignation of the entire board of directors ahead of an extraordinary General Assembly can also be seen as an attempt to clear their names and start afresh, much like the mafia's tendency to reorganize when facing legal consequences. And that brings an end to our video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment below. See you soon.